Hi, Steve Hackney here, one of the founding partners of Academy for Growth. We offer arguably the world's most successful sales and marketing program for accounting firms, with hundreds of accounting firms all over the world successfully using the program. Welcome to part 2 of our 12 essentials of growing your accountancy firm. What we're going to talk about today is being different. If you watched the first part of this, I introduced you to a character called Slasher. Now, Slasher is one of your competitors. It's a competitor that is quite willing to slash their prices, and these 12 essentials are key to overcoming that, but also helping you acquire more of the right clients at the right fee. And being different is another area where you can really get rid of our little guy, Slasher. And it's really important to differentiate your firm from all the other competition, which will help you raise your fees and be less susceptible to people like Slasher reducing fees and buying clients. Most accountants that we speak to, and as I said, we've got hundreds of accountants all over the world that are members of our program, but obviously we speak to literally thousands of other accountants. And one of the things that I think, even though every single accountant in the world understands the importance of being different, of differentiating from the competition, if you really look at that and you ask yourself, do I differentiate differently from everybody else? The answer is probably no. And the reason for that, as you know, is it's just not that easy. But you have to find a way to differentiate yourself from the competition. And I'm going to explain 2 key reasons why that's so important. The first reason is a critical thing that you've probably never thought of before, and we call it inertia. And if you think about it, there'll have been a number of occasions in the past where you've met with a prospective client. They've poured out all the reasons why their existing accountant just isn't good enough for them. They've probably told you about all the mistakes they've made, all the reasons why they should be leaving them. And actually you're sat in the meeting thinking, this is fantastic. I'm definitely going to get this guy as a client. So the meeting progresses, you get to the end, you shake hands, you've had a great meeting. The prospective business client turns around to you and says, look, that's great, I'll be in touch. And then lo and behold, a few days later, they get in contact and they say, look, I've decided to stay with my existing accountant. Now, how can that be? They've just told you all the reasons why they shouldn't be with their existing accountant and really why they should come to you. And yet they've decided to stay with them. Now, this is because when you don't differentiate, you create inertia. And what we mean by that is that even if people are dissatisfied with their existing accountant, because you're no different really, or they see you as being no different than their existing accountant, they're thinking, well, better the devil you know. And why should I join another firm of accountants when actually all I'm thinking is that they're probably the same and I can probably put up with my existing accountant. Yeah, and it's hassle to move accountants and all that sort of stuff. So if you don't differentiate, it makes you much harder to persuade people that are even dissatisfied with their existing accountant to move to you. So that's the first thing, and I'm sure you've never really seen it in that way. So that's inertia. The second thing is something that's equally as important, and it's all to do with pricing. The price thing is really, really critical. And if you remember, the reason why we have these 12 essentials is so you can acquire more clients at the right fee. Now, if you don't differentiate, if you think about it, let's say that I'm a prospective client of yours and I arrange to come and meet with you, and I arrange to meet 2 other local firms. I have a meeting with you and the 2 other firms, and actually they're all great meetings. I get on really well with each one of the partners. You're all telling me about the firm. And actually, even though you're all saying different things, essentially you're all saying the same thing. You're all quite happy in terms of how you deliver your message, but actually that message to me is quite similar. And this happens all the time. The challenge then is, well, how do I differentiate between these 3? Because actually, even though you're saying different things, essentially I'm getting the same service from you guys. So I ask you all to put all your fees and quotes in writing, which I receive over the next few days. Now, the only way now that I can actually differentiate between those 3 firms is based on price. And we get a lot of accountants say to us, look guys, you know, I'm in a really competitive marketplace, you know, fees are being challenged regularly. And whilst we accept that, you know, things are relatively tough out there, the real problem is actually you and your competitors are creating this false commodity type sell. And I say false because you haven't differentiated. And business owners are not stupid people. And you know, why should they buy a service that costs more when essentially they're getting exactly the same thing, or their perception is they're getting the same thing? So unwittingly, you've almost caused the prices to drop because you've not actually differentiated yourself from everybody else. And that's why not differentiating is such an important thing. Not only do you suffer from inertia, you also really, if you like, create a commodity-based pricing where really selling on fees becomes more of the norm because nobody's taking the time to differentiate. So what you have to do is really focus on something that makes you different and helps you differentiate yourself from the market. Once you've created that differentiator, you then need to obviously communicate that effectively. And once you've done that, then obviously you're positioning yourself very differently to everybody else. So that's it for the second part of the 12 essentials. Please remember to share, like and write a comment about the video. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our channel. Also, make sure that you subscribe to our free 10-part video training course on how to quickly grow your accounting firm. Actually, as part of that course, we give you 10 ways of differentiating your firm. And it really is a powerful way to actually create differentiation very quickly within your firm. You can subscribe to the course simply just by clicking on one of the links below the video in the description. Thanks a lot.